Hello, guys. Day 13. We are almost 1 day to 2 weeks. And thank you for the consistency that you guys have given to me. And the support has been amazing. The comments, the conversation has been amazing. And so thank you so much. And I also want to thank my friend Ben Aliman for all this. He's just been an amazing guy. If you want to do a song or a video, angalia contact zake naziweka hapo so that you can contact him. Today we are doing poem number 13, and if you're joining us today for the first time, the reason why we're doing this is to go through this book. It is called Petals of Emotion, that I'm an author of. It looks at 3 themes: God, love, and country. And for these 25 days, we are looking at the theme of God. And today we are on the 13th day, reading the 13th poem. So it's called Success After Distress. God orders your step in storm, friendship built in crisis, real one revealed in mourning, lovers made in slurred stones, record broken in toiling, decision made with sacrifice, relationships strengthened after forgiveness, heroes made in war, harvest done under the sun, gold refined in furnace, stars and moon seen in the dark, invention lactate from obstacles, conquerors abandon non-zones, peace born with a sword, greatest of all, life given through the cross. So why distress in your troubles? God is always with you. Success does not always feel like it is. And the poem of today appreciates that distress and struggles is something that is of life. That no matter, that actually it tells you you should be very afraid when you are in that place of laxity, when you are in that place of you're just okay, you have no problem, you're not struggling, you're not. And I know for some of us, that is what we want to do. We want to disappear to Bahamas and spend the rest of our lives doing nothing. But it tells us that when you reach at a place in life where you are in that point of laxity and in that point of you are just okay, you should be afraid, because it really appreciates that friendship is actually built in crisis, and you can appreciate that the fact that people who have become really good friends with you are the people who stood with you when you had nothing, are the people who have walked with you during your crisis. For you to be able to conquer unknown zones, you need to move from the known zones. You need to move from their comfort zone. And that is what is actually telling us, that decisions are made with sacrifice, that heroes are made in war. People become heroes because they struggle against something. And that is the thing about truth, is that truth is something to struggle with. When you find yourself that everything that is being told to you affirms you and makes you happy, you are not struggling with truth, because the essence of truth is that it puts you in a place whereby it struggles with the problems that you have. And it finished by giving us one of the best examples, I believe, of how something good can be made out of a crisis, and that life is given through a cross. The cross was the ultimate way that Romans dealt death to its unwanted people. And so, what this tells us is that God can be able to turn anything that you find yourself in into something good. I just want to finish with quoting Martin Luther, who said, "We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope." Every struggle and the issues that you have right now, it's just only momentary, but the hope that you hold is a long term. And I forgot to give you the fact of today beginning, but here's the fact. Here's the useless fact of the day. Do you know that dragonfly has a lifespan of 24 hours? You should be grateful that you get to live more than that. On to the story of today. We're going to read a very interesting real event story of a guy called Julius Caesar, one of the first dictators of Rome, and the person who gives us the name of the month of July. It's actually named after him. So this is the story. In 75 BC, 25-year-old Julius Caesar was sailing the Aegean Sea when he was kidnapped by Sicilian pirates. According to Plutarch, a historian then, when the pirate asked for a ransom of 20 talents of silver, approximately 620 kilograms of silver, or equivalently today $600,000 in today's value, Caesar laughed at their faces. They didn't know who they had captured, he said, and he demanded that they ask for 1,550 kg of silver instead, because 20 talents was very little for his stature. The pirates, of course, agreed, and Caesar sent some of his associates off to gather the silver, a task that took 38 days. Now, nearly alone with the pirates, only 2 servants and a friend remained with him. Caesar refused to cower. Instead, he treated the pirates as if they were his subordinates. He even went so far as to demand that they do not talk whenever he decided to sleep. He spent most of the time with them composing and reciting poetry and writing speeches. He will then recite the works to the pirates. Caesar also played various games with the pirates and participated in their exercises, generally acting as if he wasn't a prisoner, but rather their leader. The pirates quickly grew to respect and to like him and allowed him the freedom to do more or less as he pleased on the island and the ship. While Caesar was friendly with the pirates, he didn't appreciate being held captive. He told the pirates that after his ransom was paid, he will hunt them down and have them crucified. Once he was freed, he made good on that promise. Despite the fact that he was a private citizen, Caesar managed to quickly raise a small fleet which he took back to the island where he had been held captive. Apparently, the pirates had not taken his threat seriously because they were still there when he arrived. He captured them and took back his 50 talents of silver along with all their possessions. He next delivered the pirates to the authorities at the prison and then traveled to meet a proconsul at Asia, Marcus Junius, to petition to have the pirates executed. The proconsul refused. He wanted to sell the pirates as slaves and take the spoils for himself. Undeterred, Caesar traveled back to Pergamon, where the Sicilian pirates were being held, and ordered that they be crucified. Before they went through the ordeal, however, Caesar showed them leniency. He cut their throats. Well, I know this is a very dark story, but I think there are some points that we can pick. One of them is that Caesar had a lot of confidence. And I think it's very important for you to be able to live a life with confidence. Remember this, he was the guy who was kidnapped, but he ended up lording over those guys. And in a very bad way of looking at it is that he kept his promises. He told them, if and when I'll be released, I'll come for your head. And he kept his promises. So are you a man of your word? And I'm not saying that you go and decapitate people in making your promises, but you should be a man of your word. The verse of today comes from Romans 8:32, and it said, "What then shall we say to these things? If God is for us, who is against us?" Have a good night and see you tomorrow.